Boys and girls, hope you're having a great Thursday. I am in a different spot in my house today. I've chosen a different spot every day, so just to mix it up a little bit. Um, so today's Thursday, and I told you guys yesterday about this evening, Thursday evening at 5:30. We are going to do a Zoom meeting, which some of you might be like, Mrs. Johnson, what in the world are you talking about? And some of you might know, some of your parents might do this now. So it's kind of like FaceTime, if you've ever done FaceTime, except Zoom. We're going to use your Chromebooks, and our whole class can jump on. So we might not all be on at one time, just depending on how schedules work. But it could be our whole class, which is really cool. So this is what I just put it on my phone so you guys could see, but this is what your screens will look like. Now, these are just made up people. This is just off of Google. So you will have little boxes, and everyone will be on there, and we'll all get to talk to each other. And I have a whole list of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. And then we might play a little game, and it'll be a really good time. And I am so, so excited about it. So I hope you guys are too, and I hope you can make it. I sent your parents an email about it and told them if they have any problems, they can give me a phone call. I'll have my phone with me so I can answer any questions. So let's go ahead and keep going with BFG. So we stopped a little bit of a cliffhanger yesterday. The BFG was talking about Frobscoddle, and we talked about how Frobscoddle to us is like soft drinks or soda or pop, whatever you want to call it. Mrs. Johnson calls hers Mountain Dew. And so Sophie was explaining her Frobscoddle or her soda that all the bubbles go up when you open up the bottle. And in a what the BFG was talking about, all the bubbles went to the bottom. And so he was about to explain it to Sophie. But he said, your brain is so full of bug whiffles, I doubt you'll even understand it. So that's where we ended. Well, then, when you is drinking this kooky drink of yours, said the BFG, it is going straight down into your tummy. Is that right? Or is that left? That is right, Sophie said. And the bubbles is going also into your tummy, right or left? Right again, Sophie said, which I just think that's funny, by the way. So instead of saying right or wrong, the BFG says right or left. And the bubbles is fizzing upwards? The BFG asked. Of course, Sophie said. Which means, said the BFG, that they will all come swish whiffling up your throat and out of your mouth and make a foulsome, belchy burp. Yes, that's often true, Sophie said. But what's wrong with a little burp now and again? It's sort of fun. Burping is filthum, the BFG said. Us giants is never doing it. But with your drink, Sophie said, what was it you called it? Frobscoddle, said the BFG. Yes, with Frobscoddle, Sophie said, the bubbles in your tummy will be going downwards, and that could have far nastier result. Now, if we were in class right now, I think you guys would all be giggling, so it's okay to be giggling at home. Why nasty? Asked the BFG, frowning. Because, Sophie said, blushing a little, if they go down instead of up, they'll be coming out of somewhere else with an even louder and ruder noise. A whiz popper, cried the BFG, beaming at her. Us giants is making whiz poppers all the time. Whiz popping is a sign of happiness. It is music in our ears. You surely is not telling me that a little whiz popping is forbidden among human beings. Well, it is considered extremely rude, Sophie said. But you is whiz popping, is you not? Like now and again? Asked the BFG. Everyone is whiz popping, if that's what you call it, Sophie said. Kings and queens are whiz popping. Presidents are whiz popping. Glamorous film stars are whiz popping. Little babies are whiz popping. But where I come from, it's not polite to talk about it. Redunculous, said the BFG. If everyone is making whiz poppers, then why not talk about it? Why is now having a swiggle of this delicious frobscoddle and you will see the happy result. The BFG shook the bottle vigorously, which vigorously means very fast. The pale green stuff fizzed and bubbled. He removed the cork and took a tremendous gurgling swig. It's gloomy, he cried. I love it. For a few moments, the big friendly giant stood quite still, and a look of absolute happiness began to spread over his long, wrinkly face. Then suddenly the heavens opened, and he let fly with a series of the loudest and rudest noises Sophie had ever heard in her life. They reverberated around the walls of the cave like thunder, and the glass jars rattled on their shelves. But most astonishing of it all, the force of the explosions actually lifted the enormous giant clear off his feet, like a rocket. Whoopee! He cried when he came down to earth again. Now that is whiz popping for you, he said. Sophie burst out laughing. She couldn't help it. Go on, have yourself some, cried the BFG, tipping the neck of the enormous bottle towards her. Don't you have a cup? Sophie asked. No cups, only bottle, the BFG said. Sophie opened her mouth, and very gently the BFG tipped the bottle forward and poured some of the fabulous frobscoddle down her throat. And oh gosh, how delicious it was. It was sweet and refreshing. It tasted of vanilla and cream with just the faintest trace of raspberries on the edge of the flavor. And the bubbles were wonderful. Sophie could actually feel them bouncing and bursting all around in her tummy. It was an amazing sensation. It felt as though hundreds of tiny people were dancing a jig inside of her and tickling her with their toes. It was lovely. It's lovely, she cried. Just wait, said the BFG, flapping his ears. Sophie could feel the bubbles traveling lower and lower down her tummy, and then suddenly, inevitably, the explosion came. The trumpet sounded, and she too made the walls of the cave ring with the sound of music and thunder. Bravo! Shouted the BFG, waving the bottle. You is very good for a beginner. Let's have some more. Let me show you a picture here. So that's the BFG floating up in the air. All right, we're going to go ahead and stop there. That's the end of this chapter. I know today wasn't a very long read aloud, but we're going to stop there. And I hope I see you all this evening at 5:30. Okay? I'm so excited. Bye, guys.